everyone, and welcome to our Monday Minute. Today we're going to share the news of the Hospice Proposed Rule for 2026 finally being released. It's been a little bit later than normal, but likely that's because of the change in administration in Washington. It is currently in its unpublished format, which we will send you a link to. It will be published in the Federal Register on April 30th. From April 30th, you will have a 60-day comment period. You need to ensure that you are providing comments to any concerns that you have. They like positive feedback as well, but any negative concerns definitely need to be voiced. You can do that through your state association, through the National Alliance, or send them yourself electronically online. Again, that will not be available until it has been officially published in the Federal Register. These changes, for the most part, will be set to go into effect on October 1st. The first of those is the rates. Dealing with the rates for hospice for all levels of care will be increased by 2.4%. In addition, as was finalized a couple of years ago, the hospice cap will also be increased by the same amount of the annual payment update. So the hospice cap will be increased at 2.4%, putting us at $35,292.51. A couple of other changes to point out. The face-to-face encounter attestation requirements currently require that the physician or nurse practitioner attest that a face-to-face encounter has been done, but the very specific language in the guidance, in the regulation, does not specifically state that it has to be signed and dated. That this regulation will update that language, specifically requiring a signature. The hospice admission requirements are also being proposed to be changed. As you know, they recently clarified the certificate of terminal illness could be signed by not just the medical director, but medical director or physician member of the IBG. They are updating with this proposed rule, if finalized, that the admission requirements for recommending a patient be admitted to hospice would not be exclusive to the attending physician named by the patient and the hospice medical director, but could also be a hospice physician member of the IBG. The requests for information that is found in this proposed rule are specifically related to the Hospice Quality Reporting Program, and we will update you on those in a later Monday Minute. The last thing I want to share with you today regarding this rule is there was no mention of any concerns related to the HOPE implementation that is currently scheduled for October 1st of 2025. While there was no mention of concern in this proposed rule, there is concern. So currently, the HOPE is anticipated to be current and active as of October 1st of 2025. Concern, primarily the fact that the hospice system is required to transfer or transition from the KEYS system that they currently use for transmitting HIS to the iKeys system, which is or will be utilized for HOPE. The transition has not been finalized, meaning hospices have not received final information about when that transition is going to occur, how it's going to occur, what they have to do to make it occur, etc. And it can be a tedious process. It has not been the smoothest transition for other types of healthcare entities that have transitioned from KEYS to iKeys in the past. So there is concern. Also, there is a software system or a software, probably application is the best word, that will be utilized within EMR systems to extract the HOPE file that will then be utilized to transmit in the iKey system. and that application, to my knowledge, has not been finalized either. You do need to make sure that if your EMR systems are providing you updates of any kind regarding the transition to Hope in October, that you are participating in those updates and stay closely aligned. Please make sure that you are continuing or beginning, if you haven't already, to educate your staff on the content of the Hope, as this is an assessment that will be required to be completed based on true clinical assessment of the patient, preferably completed while in the patient's home. There are more time periods in which the Hope will have to be completed versus the HIS, and the questions are more clinically driven than some of the HIS details. So please make sure that you are beginning, if you haven't already, to educate your field staff on the content of the Hope and how those assessments will need to be completed. If there is anything that Healthcare Provider Solutions can do to assist you in interpretation of this proposed rule, please don't hesitate to let us know. Also note that we are fully prepared to assist your agency with Hope education. And also note that we have a 2-day hospice workshop coming up in Nashville, Tennessee in June, where we will have 2 full sessions on Hope education at that workshop. We hope to see you there, and we hope you have a fabulous week.